Happy Limerick Pride! We are here with our amazing Grand Marshals from the National LGBTI Youth Strategy. And later on we're going to hear what they have to say when we get to the Hunt Museum for keynote speeches. Are you excited to be here?
Chuffed to be here, chuffed.
Oh, and we're so glad to have you. Congratulations. And now we would like to invite up our special guests. So again, getting back to this year being a platform for youth rights, I wasn't kidding when I said I think the children are our future. These young people are amazing people, and they are on part of a committee to form a strategy to protect the future of LGBT rights in Ireland, and they're the voice of Ireland, and they're an amazing group of kids. Can we please invite up our youth from the LGBTI Youth Strategy? A massive round of applause, please! Now, I believe there's 13 of them. Like, guys, all of you come up. All of you come up. Let's show your faces. All of you come up here. Everyone take a place on the stage. Now, I know only 3 of you are talking, and we're going to educate. Oh, you brought all your bags, all your luggage. This is really amazing. All your suitcases. Everything is coming up here. Right. Now we're going to get to know them by name first, okay? What's your name?
My name is Ruan and I use he, him pronouns.
How old are you and where are you from?
I'm 18 and I'm from Dublin.
Can we give her a round of applause, please? I'll move you over here. Next up we have, oh, I feel like this is like, wow, who are you?
I'm Katie and I use she, her pronouns.
And how old are you?
I'm 19.
Where are you from?
I'm from County Clare.
Can we give her a round of applause, please? And who are you?
I'm Jay, I use he, him pronouns.
How old are you?
I'm 17.
And where are you from?
I'm from Dublin.
Can we give Jay a round of applause, please? And next up, who do we have here?
I'm James, I use he, him pronouns.
And what age are you and where are you from?
I'm 24 and from Offaly.
Can we give James a round of applause, please? And who are you and where are you from and what pronouns do you use and how old are you? Okay, I'm old here, people. Okay, I need to catch up with my pronouns. Who are you?
I'm Seamus. I use he, him pronouns. I'm 18 from County Meath.
Can we give a round of applause? Him, well, who do I call you? Him or her, or he or she?
Him.
Him. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Sexuality is spiritual. Thank you, youth. You're amazing. Praise Whitney, hallelujah. Hashtag I will always love you. Hashtag saving all my love for you. Hashtag greatest love of all. What's your name?
My name is Leslie, I use she, her pronouns. I'm from Dublin and I'm 24.
Can we give Leslie a round of applause, please? And last but not least, what is your name?
My name's Tara. I use she, her pronouns. I'm 18 and I'm from Dublin.
A big round of applause, please. Now, there's some of you missing, isn't there? There's how many of you here and how many's missing?
There's like 6 of us here, like there's 13 in total or something.
There's 13 in total. So these are our Grand Marshals today, and they're going to say a couple of words to educate us about what's happening in terms of progressing our rights as an LGBT family in Ireland. And who do we have up to speak first? I'll move you right here to the front of the stage. Go ahead. Can we give it, what's your name again?
Ruan.
Ruan, a round of applause, please.
Okay, so firstly, we are the National LGBTI Youth Strategy. We started this year. But I'm going to start with some history. The chairperson mentioned Stonewall. Stonewall was the reason why we're here today. Stonewall was a bar in New York, and people would go there because it was the only place that they could be open and be themselves. And the police started to raid them nearly every night, and they got sick of it, and one day they decided that it had to stop, and they started a riot. And this started because one young lesbian woman was being pulled out, and she said her shackles were too tight. The police didn't listen to her and threw her into a van, and that was when the riot started because she told the crowd to do something. And we've been listening to her, and we are doing something. And the guys are going to talk a little bit about what we're actually doing.
Hello. So when we first decided that we were all doing this and they decided who was going to be involved, we did this weekend residential thing in Booterstown? I always mix it up with Bettystown, so we have to get that right. We were all just like getting to know each other and talking about where we wanted to go with this and what we wanted to do. We fought over colours. We designed these shirts and the logos, and we decided that, you know, people really like pastels. That was a big part of the weekend, the pastels. And we just decided that we wanted to be as inclusive as possible. Like, it's an LGBTI plus youth strategy. It's not just LGBT. We're making sure that everyone who feels part of the community can get involved and is represented, especially since so often the plus is left out. There's no organisation in Ireland for intersex rights, which is why the I was included in the first place, and we just wanted to make sure that we were doing as much as we could.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about some of the work we've done. So what we started to work on was an online strategy, because we knew that we couldn't talk to every young person in Ireland face to face. So we decided to design a questionnaire to talk to every young person online and see what they want, what they need, what they like and what they don't like. So all that information was compiled, and then we did some consultations in Dublin, Cork, Sligo, Galway, speaking face-to-face with young people about what they need as LGBTI people. We also spoke to straight people because we're aware that we live in a world where everybody lives together, and most of the problems that LGBTI young people face come from the ignorance and the ununderstanding of people who don't identify in that community. So that's what we did, and we're still doing that. We're still working with the Department of Children and Youth Affairs to compile that information. Not one single adult was consulted before young people were consulted, which we loved, because not enough in this world are young people listened to and heard. And it's the first strategy of its kind in the world to be done. So we feel very proud of Ireland for that, and we hope that everyone else feels proud like that too. I know I can speak for everyone on the panel that we are blessed to be here in Limerick today, and we are so thankful for the invitation to be Grand Marshals of your Pride Parade. It's such an honour, and everyone is so excited and happy to be here, and we really hope you are having as great a time as we are, because we're loving it here today.
So come out here and talk to me and educate me, because I need to be educated. Come over here. So talk to me about the I and the plus and pronouns and the right to be called whomever you want and whatever you want, and to choose your own gender, and how gender is not sexuality. Gender is something else. Talk to me and explain to me, because I'm old and I need to be educated.
So when we were talking to young people, when we were doing our consultations, we realised that a lot of the vernacular words that we would use all the time in our community are not something that everybody knows. So when we talk about cisgendered people, if you're cisgendered, that means that you're not transgender. It means that your biological sex aligns with your gender identity, which is something that you know in your mind. So we decided that we were going to use words and language that really fit what we felt was important. When we say our pronouns are she, her, when I say my pronouns are she, her, that means that is what I would like to be spoken about, how I would like to be referred to. And when you use those pronouns for me, that's you respecting me. That's the same for the trans community, the non-binary community. Anyone and everyone has pronouns, and that's important that they're respected and used in their lives.
So for the I, which is the one that we actually get asked about that a lot, I stands for intersex. An intersex person is someone who is born with ambiguous genitalia or chromosomes, which means that they aren't classified as what would be traditionally a male body or a female body. And often when they're babies without their own consent, they are given surgery to like basically make them more normal, which we think is really gross, and we're trying to put a stop to that.
Hi, it's back to me. When it comes to stuff like you were saying about trans people and intersex people, a problem that we saw really frequently in the LGBT community, both with like pride events and with spaces, and thankfully it's happening less and less, but that a lot of the time trans people would show up and not feel very included. I know that like the fact that there are now groups specifically for trans young people to make us feel like we are involved in the space, that there are groups working for trans people as well, and that organizations like Belong To meaningfully include trans people and not just the LGB part of the community. It makes a massive difference, and that's part of why it's part of the strategy, including those voices that are so often drowned out, and all of the people who fit into the plus, like people who might be asexual or pansexual or any other ream of identities that we could list, but we'd be here all day. All of those people need to feel included in the strategy and in LGBT organizations. So that's why we brought in the I and the plus, and that's why we make sure we listen to those voices as much as we possibly can.
Now, how this came about is because there's a very special lady named Maninie that runs Belong To. She used to be with Tenny. She's an incredible human being. Can we give Maninie a round of applause? She's not here today. We wish she was here with us. She is a fantastic... I know, she was the Grand Marshal of Dublin Pride, and we're hoping to have her down. Is there anything else that we need to be talking about while you have you here today? Is there any issues facing? I know there's multiple issues, bullying, cyberbullying, the things that, because I know when I was younger, it wasn't safe to come out. I went to New York and came out in a nightclub, basically, is where I came out. So I wasn't able when I was 15, and I'm not turning my back to you, you can move forward. I wasn't able when I was 15 to go in and tell my mum that I kissed a boy or something, like a straight person. Do you believe that sexuality is spiritual?
That's a very loaded question. I think, yeah, for some people it's not. That's an idiot. I don't know how to answer that. I've never been asked that before. Yeah, but it's definitely something that's...
It's not sexual, is it? I know that sounds a bizarre thing to say, but it's not. People bring everything down to a penis, to a vagina. They have to sexualize everything, when in actual fact it's about our souls and who we choose to love.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we're working with young people, so when you're 14, it's not about sex, it's about who you have a connection with, and it's who you find yourself attracted to. So yeah, it's definitely not about who you want to have sex with tonight, it's about who you want to fall in love with and who you see the rest of your life happening with. That's how we would see that.
Do you think that sexuality and gender is a spectrum? Like we're talking about the I and the plus. Talk to me about the spectrum.
I think it's definitely a spectrum, like scientifically, and just from talking to trans people, like people find themselves on a different end of the spectrum, but maybe that spectrum doesn't have two set ends. It's kind of more like a circle, just keeps going. Maybe it's like an explosion. I don't know. Yeah, definitely.
How has the experience of working on this youth strategy been for you and your development as a human being? Like, what has it brought to your lives?
Well, like, I think for me it's very much an extension of, like, I've been going to Belong To for like 2-3 years now, and we got involved with this through Belong To. They are the ones who asked us who wants to volunteer, who wants to put themselves forward for this, and with Belong To, a lot of us who are from Dublin, we're already going to Belong To, we're already peer educators in Belong To. So they had already been giving us similar opportunities to this, to doing stuff like this where we could benefit the entire community and improve ourselves and grow as young people, but also as LGBT people, and benefit the entire community, not just like yourself. And it's a really good thing to do, and it's really fun, it's beneficial to other people. You're doing something good, and you're doing something that not only will benefit you, and that like we're working together as a team. We've all like been talking and working together, and everything we've done has been as a team. We all have to fight and agree with each other, you know what I mean? And then at the same time, you're also just benefiting your entire community. We all feel like we've helped the LGBT community from this.
It's not just about LGBT people though, it's about human beings, it's about equality, it's about all of us. Has anyone else here something that they would like to say now that you have the platform? Is there something any of you would like to say? I don't think you need to be shy. We're going to pass the mic along and you can speak your mind. This is your platform.
Oh wow.
Can we give her a round of applause?
Do you want to go first?
I kind of, you were talking about like what does this mean to us. I think for me anyway, like the only reason I was born into an Ireland where it's not illegal to be me is because people worked hard to make it that way, and I feel like this is my opportunity to do the same thing for people who are younger than me and probably struggling. Like I'm lucky, I live in Dublin, it's a very open environment, very friendly and happy, but other areas of Ireland are not like that, and that's the people I'm trying to help, you know. So
do you think, can we give a round of applause please? People, you know, say to us, what's the purpose of a gay pride parade? You have marriage equality in Ireland now, so why are you having a parade? But they don't realise that we're actually fighting for global equality. What's your take on what's happening in other countries like Russia?
I think that, like, I don't know, it's ridiculous that people can't just be themselves, and I feel so lucky that in Ireland we do have marriage equality and we can be ourselves, but as you said, the fight is not over yet, and I think Pride is a really good day to like pay respect to the people before us, and as Leslie said, so we can do it for people that are younger than us. Yeah.
Can we get an man up in here? Aren't they amazing? Give them a round of applause, please. Now, we have two more in the back here that we haven't heard talk, and we're just going to get some thoughts from them. Talk to me how you're feeling right now to be part of this, and what you want to say to people. This is your platform, this is your voice. Praise Whitney, hallelujah.
There he is. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool to be here. I've never been to Limerick before, so I mean, first time for everything. I love Limerick! Yeah. Right, so one quick thing I want to say is gender recognition. So like most of you don't know me, like a few of you might, you know, a few in the front. But I'm trans, and in this country, if you are, I see you, if you are under 16 in this country, you can't be legally recognized for your gender. And if you're between the ages of 16, if you're 16 and 17, you can, but you have to go through gigantic loopholes. Right now we're trying to fix that so that everybody can have legal gender recognition, you know, just get that stuff sorted, you know? Yeah.
Now we have some very special youths here as well, and we cannot go without acknowledging the Limerick Youth Service. Can we give them a round of applause, please? Because they are the bomb, diggity, diggity bomb. They were marching with you in the parade today. I hope you guys are going to get a chance to know them. Now we're going to move you right on over here, and you're going to share a little piece of your story about you, why you want to be part of the LGBTI Youth Strategy. Tell them your name.
I'm James.
Nice and close.
So, I'm James, and as I said earlier, I come from Offaly, so very rural Ireland. Down there, there's actually only one LGBTI orientated youth service in all the Midlands. So they end up, people come from Offaly, Westmeath, Longford, Roscommon, the whole lot. So for me personally, I would love to see a lot more equality and just general acceptance along, like in rural Ireland. It's like I know, like in Dublin and the likes, whenever I go around at Pride, I never actually get any homophobic comments, or if I could walk down wearing, I don't know, God knows what, I generally just be allowed to do it. But if I did it in my own town, I would get such hatred and such ridicule just for being myself. So personally, I would love to see all of Ireland just change their attitudes to be more inclusive and accepting.
So the fight's not over. This is our LGBTI Youth Strategy. Can we give them a massive round of applause? We're so honored you came here today. Thank you, all of you. You're amazing.